Hi guys, I am Stu and this is Amity Airfield for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Build a flying themed amusement park in this abandoned airport. Your objective, wow, to have at least 3,000 guests in your park at the end of October year 4 with a park rating of at least 600. Okay, so some people told me there was a hard one coming up, and so I'm guessing it's this one then. Wow, 3,000 guests by the end of October year 4. Okay, so let's have a look then. And we're charging for entry as well, so as if it wasn't difficult enough, we're also charging. Right then, let's look at the rides. We've got a lot of transport rides, so we've got some monorails and some chair lifts and an elevator. Okay, we've got only a few gentle rides, but they do look pretty cool. We like these space rings, always popular, and these as well. I think we had these on Arid Heights. There's some good capacity on those. So we've got some roller coasters that we wouldn't normally use, and okay, a couple of thrill rides. Enterprise, good. We can do a lot with a free fall. No water rides, and thankfully it's thrown us a bone. We've got a lot of shops. So let's look. We've got kiosk. Oh, we've got a cash point as well. Great stuff. So we've got a kiosk, so that's good. We've got loads of shops for food and whatever. We've got a first aid room, so that's good because we've got all the roller coasters look like quite high, like these ones, high intensity roller coasters. So it's good that we've got first aid rooms. So we're going to need to make sure then that we're putting down a lot of first aid rooms and a lot of cash points. And we're going to have to build quite a big park as well. If a lot of paths. So if we're going to have 3,000 guests, we're going to need to make sure there's a lot of room for them so they're not crowded. When we did Arid Heights, I think once I finished playing, we had well over 5,000 guests, and because we had so much pathing in the game, there was only around 100 people complaining about the park being overcrowded, so that wasn't an issue. Okay, so we've got a lot of paths already down there, and that's the runway. A lot of scenery, so there must be thousands of pounds worth of pathing all tied up there. So what I'm going to do then is, it's going to take a long time to get rid of all that, and we're going to need to be very quick with this. We're going to need to be, it'll be a bit like Diamond Heights, I suppose. We've just got to keep building. It's very likely we're going to have to be non-stop building for the 4 years, and even then I don't want to. I haven't used advertising so far in any of the scenarios, but we might even have to advertise just to ensure we get the guests into the park. So first off then, I'll get rid of the path. Probably, let's have a look at the size, maybe up to around here. And then I think we're gonna have to be so quick with this. Right, let's have a plan then. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make a note of what rides we've got. I'm going to scribble it down on a piece of paper, what rides we've got, and then I'm going to open up. We'll try Arid Heights to see what rides we've got on them. I know there was some of them were on that, and then I'm going to build the rides and the pathing around it, and maybe a seating area in front, because that really helped us in Arid Heights deal with the overcrowding. I'm going to build those, and then I'm going to save them, and then I'm going to come back into this, and I'm going to spam them. Let's have a look. So if I spam flat rides then all the way along the front wall where these trees are, let's have a look. How much money do we have to start with? Oh, that should be plenty. And then once I've done that, then hopefully I can do that within the first year. Then I can start building. We're gonna have to go straight into roller coasters. So research wise, we're going to go straight into roller coasters, because the roller coasters we've got unlocked at the start aren't that brilliant. So we're going to see if we got any better ones unlocked. Hopefully by the time we come to building the big ticket rides, we'll have quite a lot of good ones or better ones unlocked, and then we'll just have to play it by ear and review at the end of the year and see how we've done and how far off the goal we are. And then maybe around at the end of year 2 we'll see how far off we are, and then we can look at maybe advertising into year 3. I don't want to have to advertise, but we might have to. Last thing I want to do is play for, if it takes like just under an hour to do a year. Last thing I want to do is put 4 hours into a scenario and then find out that we've fallen short just because I was a bit too pig-headed to use advertising. So if we need to, we will use it. So I'm going to close this down and go into another scenario to build a load of templates, and I'm going to spam them, and then we'll come back and review how we've done. We are still in March. I've spammed observation towers all the way down. I've got my ticket price set to £40 and we're getting guests through the gate. So we're 12 days in and we're already getting guests in. We've got a ton of rides. I'm putting it on pause whenever I can, but we're doing good start. So I think we're gonna have 4 years of this and we should do it. April year 1, I've just deleted all the paths. That's given us a massive boost. So we've got, there you go, 11,000 there. Positive landscaping, so that's from deleting scenery and paths and whatnot. We've got over 200 guests in the park already. So we're less than 2 months in. So we're doing really well. So if we can carry on getting 100 guests a month, we should do this no problem. Vertical drop roller coaster. That's fantastic. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save it and I'm going to go off and I'm going to design a few vertical drop roller coasters in a really small space, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put them down. The only issue with that is at the moment I haven't got any handymen in the park, but as soon as I start putting down roller coasters I am going to need to start getting some handymen because we're going to get loads of sick. We are into October year 1. I've got just under 1,000 guests in the park, so we're well on track to get to 3,000 by the end of year 4. We spammed a lot of flat rides just along here with the paths already saved as part of their scenery, so that was a much quicker way of doing it. I've got a suspended monorail there. Built this design, so we got, it's basically a Mobius, I suppose, in a way, because it goes off and back and round. So, you know, just because it's a monorail doesn't mean you can't make a ride out of it. Good excitement off that. Similar thing here with the helicycles, except there is 2 separate rides. So we've got 29 cars on that, all crammed into an 8x8 square. We unlocked vertical drop coasters, so I went off and designed some very compact rides. So it's high excitement for that. I think that's 8x8 as well. And then we had a nice space there. And oh, hang on, forgot about these. And then so we got these compact inverted coasters. I think they're 8x8 as well. Let's have a look. Good excitement for those. And then we had a space here. I think it was about 14 blocks long that side and about 18 that side. So we just unlocked these impulse coasters. So I built 2 of those there. Good excitement on those. And then I've got one there. So I'm waiting for the money to come in before I can build the other half of that one. So what'll that take us up to? That'll take us up to 2, 4, 6, 8 coasters. So yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic start. I imagine that the next few years are going to be as busy as this. To be honest, this little recap of the year is a nice little breather for me, because it's been a bit of a rush. I've left these spaces here. See these 2x2 spaces, left them all along, and later on we can add shops or scenery or whatever we want in those spaces. It's just to give us some extra pathing, because the park's going to get very busy, so we're going to need a lot of pathing and a lot of rides. For the rides, I've made some of the queues longer than what I normally would. The queue length shouldn't be too long. It should only be maybe 5 minutes at a maximum. Let's have a look at this one. This one's full, 6 minutes for that queue time. So that's all right. That's fine. But it will take a lot of guests off the paths, so that will benefit us in future. So break over. Time to crack on with the building. I'll see you sometime next year. It is October year 2, and we are well on the way to completing the scenario. We only need just over 700 guests to go, so we'll complete this sometime in year 3. Good news then, we won't need to advertise. So that's something I didn't want to do, because we haven't done it so far, so I didn't really want to unless we needed to. It looks like we're going to complete this quite early, so we won't need to. So what have we got then? We've got this central corridor leading down. I'm going to expand that to the end, and then I think what I'm going to do then is at the back then I'm going to do something similar I did at the start. I'm going to spam a load of rides across the back, probably Enterprise and what were they, those little floaty things, these things, were they flying saucers? So Enterprise and flying saucers at the back, so that'll get a large number of guests away from the front of the park where there's loads of puke. So, we've got a ton of handyman, so the staff wages is quite high. Thankfully we're taking a lot of money in entrance tickets. We're still charging £40, so whether we can up that or not, maybe we will once I complete the goal. I don't know yet, but we'll just carry on. So I think what I'll do is, when we hit the 3,000, or when we're about to hit the 3,000, I'll come back just so we can see how early we did it. It is June year 3, and we've got 2,941 guests in the park, so just another 59, make your mind up, 59 guests needed then to complete the scenario. So we should do that perhaps later on this month. If not this month, definitely in July. So I've extended the path all the way up then. We got a few more rides. Magic carpets, where are they? There you go. We don't see them very often. Got them. I was researching thrill rides. I've quit researching now, so we're just saving the money, because I've got a load more roller coasters that I want to build, but they're all quite expensive. So I want to continue. I've built half of the back there. I want to continue that down here as well, down to this corner, but that's going to take some money. That's going to take a few thousand to do that. So it's only really money that's slowing us down. So just 30, 20, no, must have been a family come through. So 31, it's changing all the time. 30 guests needed to complete the scenario. This won't be long then. I've got another monorail here, exactly the same design as the one earlier in the park. It's a little bit of sick around the place, but that's fine. I'm not really getting any complaints. 20 guests now. 19, back to 20. So I've got these inverted hairpin coasters. So they're on 8x8 pattern. So I've got 4 there, 2 different designs back to back, so they're synchronized. I've got a few more designs that I want to put down. I've got some are they flying coasters? I can't remember now. I've got some flawless. I've got some I'm not sure what they are. They just look like they look a bit like bobsleighs, but obviously there must be some difference. I'm not sure if I've got any laid down. Let's have a look. Nope. I've got some flawless. There are a couple of 10x10 designs, but they're very expensive, so I don't know if we're going to get a chance to put them down. There you go, less than 10 guests needed. Won't take long now. One thing I've got as well, because what I'm going to be wary of is once we've got the 3,000, is keeping it over the 3,000. I mean, I might be worrying over nothing. We might end up with, 4,000 plus. I don't know, but it could be that our guest numbers start to tumble. And we've got 3,000, so we've done it in July year 3. So we just need to keep that up now. So it could be that the guest numbers sort of top out and then start to fall. In which case, what we can do, we've got free fall. So what I can do is maybe not delete all of these, but at least every other one of the observation towers, I can delete them, and then I can just put free fall in their place. Or if I don't want to put them at the start because there is going to be an issue with sick, I could put them, maybe have a central corridor running all the way along. I don't know yet, there's plenty of time, but from the looks of it, we are looking set. I've been keeping an eye on the graph. It was a lot steeper during the first year or so, so it's starting to get shallower, but that's one way I've been keeping track of the guests coming into the park, is by looking at this graph just to see how steep it is. So as long as the graph is fairly steep, I know I'm doing something right. So I will see you then later on. It is October year 4, it's Halloween, we're about to pass the scenario. I'm doing this really quick because I'm having loads of issues recording. The sound and audio keeps going out of sync, and I think it's because we've got so many rides and so many guests. This is the 4th time I'm trying. Hopefully it's going to work. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. So if this has worked, I'll be back in a second with a little bit of a park tour. Hi guys, welcome back. I've managed to get rid of all but 300 of the guests in the park by closing the park and shutting the rides down, also placing some no entry signs so that any guests that wander into these zones are caught, and they've got no choice really but to just wander around for ages and leave. One thing I did as well, when we got down to about 1,000 guests, I opened this toilet up here, and that caused a bit of a stampede from all areas of the park down to this one section. And amazingly enough, I put the price up to 50 pence, and the toilet counts as a ride. So in August I made £300 off-ride tickets for the toilet. So roll up, come and ride the toilet. Come and ride Toilets 2, the best ride in the park at the moment because it's open. So here's what I did then. I made a note of all the rides that we had unlocked, and then I went off and I built a observation tower set in an 8x8 grid with paths with the entrance and exit paths for that, and also an exit path for the other ride that we were going to place in it. So then I spammed all these down, one side and the other side. Then I came in with the space ring. I saved the space ring with the entrance queue, so that's that there, and then just placed it down, and it already made use of the exit path that was already saved. Spammed all them down. In the design for the observation tower, I also had the seating areas. The seats weren't saved, so I had to add them manually later as the guests started pouring in. I then added these 4x4 sections just there. I probably could have, in hindsight, I probably could have done that the same time as the observation tower, but what I did is I saved about 5 or 6 of them in a Ferris wheel, and then I spammed them all the way down and then got rid of the Ferris wheels. So once I'd done that, I was happy then. The purpose of these then, all these flat rides here, they justify the park entrance ticket of £40. Not at the moment, obviously, because it's all closed, but at the start it did, so they were all pouring in. The seating areas, they give them all some place to sit down, and then these spaces here, they can be used for either shops or scenery. So I wasn't sure how the scenario was going to go. It could have been that once we got to the 3,000, we started having a steady stream of guests leaving, in which case what I could have done is I could have added things to these squares in order to maybe convince the guests to stop, maybe have some food, enjoy some scenery, and then walk back into the park. But in the end, we didn't need to bother with any of that. So what I did as well is we had suspended monorails and helicycles unlocked, so I made a design for those. So this is one ride here, got excitement on that. This is actually 2 rides, so there's one ride set in an 8x8 and then another one set in an 8x8, and then both set to synchronize. So again, good excitement on those for what they are. Just because the monorails is a transport ride doesn't mean you can't use it as a normal ride. And then from there then we went and we designed some inverted hairpin coasters on an 8x8 grid. So we've got 2 different designs here, back to back, 4 in total. There's another 2 there, back to back, and another 2 there. I've got a few more, but we didn't use them in the end. What's this then? This is compact inverted coaster, so that's on, I think that's on a 10x10 grid. We've got some vertical drop. As soon as we unlocked those, we went off, and that looks like one of them stalled there, is it? So let's put that into, there you go. So some guests were stuck on that. There's a bit of an issue there, stalling. Oh well, it's good design though. Let's check out this one. 666, not bad for us. I think it's 10x10, is it? Or was 8x8? One of the 2. And then there's another one here, compact inverted. That's 8x8 as well. Then we unlocked these then, inverted impulse coasters. So we had a 14 wide gap there. So I knocked one up there, and then there was an 18 gap there. So I knocked one up for an 18 gap there. Then what we did is we just carried on building down the middle, and then once we got to the end, then I did something similar with that we did with the observation towers, except with an Enterprise and the flying saucers. This design didn't really work though, because what was happening is the handymen were getting to this platform here on the entrance path, and they were trying to get down to the pavement below, and they couldn't do it. They lack the pathfinding ability to realize that they need to go back and wander around. So this whole area here, the front, was just covered in sick, so that really affected the park rate. I'm not sure if it's gonna, yeah, you can just about see it there from last April to May. So what I did is I hired a load of extra handymen. I left them free range. They mopped up all that, so that was fine. I had a couple of designs for floorless coasters. In the end, I only had the money to put down the one, so it's good excitement on this, but it was 11,000 something. So really, is it worth spending all that money on one of these coasters when you could spend half as much on one of these and they'd be the same, give you the same excitement? So it's really, that's a choice for you to make. It depends how much money you've got. If you've got tons of money, then it doesn't really matter. I've got another design in the Flawless with the Cobra roll going through a couple of loops, but in the end we didn't have the money. So that was Amity Airfield then. Hopefully this video is going to come out properly. So we had some issues earlier, that's why I've emptied the park. Other videos should be fine because I don't think the parks are going to be as big as this one will be, so we shouldn't have any issues there. If you'd like me to go over anything in more detail, let me know. I'm doing a couple of videos for Volcania and Dragon's Cove in more detail, showing the coasters built on there. They should be in the tutorial section, so you could see the playlist link in the about section below. So I am Stu. This was Amity Airfield. We made it look easy, but we did have to give it a lot of planning and a lot of prep work in order to complete it. So I am Stu, and I'll see you next time. Bye.